I'm so smart. Just look at, oh, that's just the most delectable meme that you've ever seen. Oh, hi. You've caught me admiring my own memes. I guess that brings us to that is censored, and that is a hole in the ground, where we talk about literally anything we want. I swear, if we get any more censored, we will start to vanish. If you see us start to turn transparent, please leave a comment quickly so we can figure out how to not dematerialize. How censored have you been? I
sworn
that you got to be starting to say
swear
words. You've been so freaking censored. And shadow ban. How shadow? Leave a comment. Let us know how shadow banned you've been. Hey man, who needs the government, man? Big tech will censor you for free, man. It's the best. You get free apps. They totally function. It's the software is delectable. Hey, what's going on over here? I'm stuck in this freaking gray box here. I don't know what's going. Well, please leave a comment if you see this thing start to shrink. Oh my gosh, what's happened? We're looking at Galactus's driver's license. Anyway, the point is, dear big tech, you can't break the internet, but the internet can break you. So, enjoy that. If you're on the boards of these companies, you may want to get yourself a beach house in the Seychelles. Perhaps move to, a no extradition treaties country. And of course, certain politicians should retire. We won't beat a dead horse and dunk on a dull man who yells a lot, if you know what I mean. Actually, we will. We'll dunk on Bernie really hard. Yeah. Okay. So, moving on to Galactus's driver's license. Do you follow us on Facebook? You may not see things like Galactus's driver's license. Now, sadly, this one's expired, so you can't take this to the bar and claim to really be Galactus. I didn't know that. Does your driver's license have heralds on it? I don't know. Mine doesn't have it. No, seriously, though, dudes. Dudes. Serious dudes. We're on Facebook. Totally. We almost even ever respond to anything on this platform. We are on Patreon. If you join at the gold level, not the dollar level, because that's going to be gone on Halloween. On or by Halloween, let's just say. Do you have your one-ups? Let's talk about a Zero Hedge article. Now, a lot of people think the Saudi government was responsible for funding 9/11, and while there is significant reason for Saudi Arabia to wish for the U.S. to get involved in the Sunni versus Shia conflicts that go on in the Middle East, I don't believe it was a particularly formal thing. It was just a government official who has been named by the FBI, or the FBI has agreed to name the official. Let's just say that. It doesn't necessarily mean that the royal family funded it. There is some stuff going on with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, probably the hairiest back in all of Guantanamo Bay. Check out the hairdo. Oh my goodness. I mean the back hair. I don't mean this. I'm talking about, get a close-up of that back hair. Holy. Anyway, lots of people think the Saudi government was behind 9/11, think it was an inside job, and yada, yada, yada. That got us to thinking about a new debunking the intentional implosion of the World Trade Center's theory. What about the plane? Everybody complains about, oh, the building the structural steel couldn't have been melted by jet fuel. It's like, well, folks, there's a lot of stuff burning there besides jet fuel. For instance, aluminum. A 767 is made chiefly out of aluminum. What's the boiling point of aluminum? 2,519 degrees Celsius. So think about all the materials that were burning in those buildings, folks. How the HVAC systems were compromised by the physical form of the planes. How the entire planes almost completely stayed within the buildings. This creates a crazy crucible-style smokestack in there. And put it this way, you can melt various metals in your backyard by making a small smokestack out of bricks. You can just take bricks, set them there, put a wood fire in there, leave some bricks out the bottom, take a bellows, blow lots of air in there, get some hot coals going. Just the convective force of the heat going upward, much less having an HVAC system that's designed to convect heat upward. I mean, it's the perfect place to get exactly the right amount of heat building up. If you're using aluminum as your coals to stoke your fire, it tends to get kind of hot. Now, the molybdenum used in the structural steel, it's not the primary component of the structural steel, but molybdenum is added. That's got a much higher boiling point. It's like 4,500 Celsius. But nonetheless, this is the way you melt things, by making a crazy stack, a square-shaped stack, which is exactly how those buildings were shaped. It suggests a sophisticated, well-planned maneuver as they made sure that the planes remained inside the buildings, as the planes themselves were the primary fuel, the aluminum frames of the planes. Anyway, moving on. 2. Why do Android flashlight apps need dozens of permissions? You want to see some terrible numbers? Ultra Color Flashlight needs 77 permissions in order to run on your phone. You want to talk about junkware? I mean, Google makes junk. Google's the world's leading manufacturer of junkware. Google is by far the largest producer of junkware, and they own about 60% of the servers on Earth, by the way, if you weren't aware. But there's so much junkware out there now, anybody can just make an app and sell it. And I don't know how much red tape is required, but it doesn't seem like a lot. As well, I mean, these things have a lot of downloads, but look at the permissions. It should require permission to access the LED flash itself, download ads from the internet, and lock screen access, so the flashlight can be turned off without unlocking the device. What's so hard about that? Also, since Google likes to propagate junkware, I would also add the fact that the newest versions of these OSs are self-aware that they're the newest versions, and these junkware applications are still offered on the website. They shouldn't even be there. You should be using the stock flashlight app. I mean, yes, I understand people want a strobe light and stuff like that, and those kind of apps should require this stuff. Access the LED flash, download ads from the internet, and lock screen access so the flashlight can be turned on or off without unlocking the device. Not 77 permissions. Look at the horrific numbers. This one requires 76 permissions and has had over 1 million downloads by now. Eeks! What a bunch of junkware. And yes, it will slow your device down big time, just like running Google Chrome or even Mozilla. I mean, these are closed source softwares, folks, and they are no good. They're no good. They're junkware. I left this one in. We covered this yesterday, but it's such a fantastic image that I just put it back in again. We've got these radio bubbles. I just left it in because check out these radio bubbles from the Meerkat telescope in South Africa. Shout out South African viewers. We have to resurrect the gaming clan Skilled Fraternity, so that's going to be a thing. But before that, that's a thing. Check it out. Shoo! Fantastic radio image. That's the core of the Milky Way galaxy there, folks. So, clear indication of where the radio bubble is, how it's shaped. It gives you an indication of the tilt of the galactic core and the inclination in terms of the Z field. In other words, we're probably a little bit more oriented toward the south than the north, because this one looks a little more narrow. So a feature of this thing coming toward you would be it would be more narrow. Going away from you it would look more of an obtuse, more of a diffuse if it's moving away. So there's probably a slight inclination toward the south of what you could refer to as the galactic plane. Nice. By the way, links to that article below the video. Please don't vomit. All right, I only put it on the screen for a couple seconds. All right, we're going to go back to it. We're going to try to... Oh man, I'm hyperventilating. All right, I'm going to try to get through this. All right, hold on. Just 1 second. Let's read some headlines and try to go back to the article before we... Trypophobia. iPhone's new design disturbs people with a fear of small holes. Trypophobia triggered by iPhone's 3 lenses, sufferers say. They could have designed a phone that was trypophobic friendly. I've seriously, I watched tweets and stuff. This story is amazing. Go read all about this on the internet. I'm not going to show any, too much stuff, but good Lord. I mean, supposedly people instantly vomited and went and like drooled on themselves when they... Here it is. Oh my gosh. Brace yourself. Brace yourself. Oh, it's got 3 holes. 3 holes. And really there's 2 other holes up there. And because you've got the LED flashes right there. And then there's like a normal angle lens. And then there's a wide angle lens. And then there's an ultra wide angle lens. And then there's a light sensor, which is right above this pinhead's pinhead. Now, I'm not a fan of Apple products whatsoever, but I like this idea. I was talking about how I want one of these earlier. I don't know. I really don't like Apple products, or especially their OSs. But this is the story we had to click on, because the Washington Post, I think, wins the award for the most ridiculous, clickbaity, silly, pseudoscientific title ever. Does the new iPhone creep you out? Scientists grapple with why tiny holes scare some people. Oh my God, those tiny holes! Oh, I'm gonna have nightmares. What's going on with this guy's head? He's got a sunglass over his third eye. This is one of the best stories I've ever seen. I heard this start to get covered on the radio yesterday, and some people are suggesting that it's a ruse by Samsung to try to... all right. Oh man. Trypophobia. Let's read some more headlines. Common things that set off people's trypophobia include honeycombs, lotus seed pods, a cluster of eyes, coral, strawberries. Strawberries. Oh my God. The other day, I went down to the grocery store and everything was fine. I got my oranges. I got my apples. And then I had to run for my life because there were strawberries. Apple iPhone 11 Pro camera triggers trypophobia. The iPhone 11 Pro's triple camera system is making trypophobia sufferers feel uncomfortable. Oh, it's some of the scariest cameras I've ever seen, folks. I've got a Super Soaker that has a triple thing on the front. You ever hear of this? Please enjoy this cryptic message while the page loads. This is more interesting than trypophobia. You ever see one of these? Yeah. The CPS 700? Yeah. How much are they selling it for? Yeah, $260, baby. I got one of these hanging on the mantle. You do not want to get hit with that. Anyway, if it shows the front, see, this has got three things. Oh, geez, never mind. Trypophobia. The other night, I was sitting around watching scary movies when all of a sudden, I started shopping for raw honey online. And then, I saw a honeycomb! Tales of suspense on Friday the 13th edition of Censored versus Sinkhole. They make for great photographs, but it turns out there's a drawback to Apple iPhone's 11 Pro's triple camera design. It seems to be triggering people with trypophobia. Dun 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 dun. This is for real, folks. This is the world you live in now. People are scared of a phone because it has too many cameras on the non-screen facing side, and probably another one on the screen facing side. Now, I was looking at mine earlier to notice that the screen is a bit on the smashed side. There you go, that's nice. I already have a backup. The same model, of course. But I haven't gotten it set up yet, even after having it for like months. Check this out. It's my My Little Pony level cell phone case. Is that fantastic or what? I just want to sit around and stare at that all day. We apologize if we caused any trypophobic attacks, outbreaks, triggerings, panic attacks, shortness of breath, tachycardia, or anything else associated with your fear of small holes in things. Remember, if you go to the grocery store, watch out for those strawberries. Oh my gosh, strawberries. I hope I'm able to sleep tonight. Were you aware that stars can act like comets? You know, they can be, quote, kicked out by a missing link black hole. Just a theoretical thing. Not that the fast-moving stars are a theoretical thing. The fast-moving stars are all too real. And I'm not going to read this article to you or anything like that, but let's go into my astronomical and cosmology depth a little bit, as I've been studying stuff like this since the late 90s. Were you aware that neutron stars can behave like comets? Check this out. You think the solar wind is fast? See that neutron star? That neutron star is moving faster than the solar wind at about 1,500 kilometers per second. So there's some violent stuff out there in the universe, folks. If you don't think astronomy is super scary, then I don't know what to tell you, but it's Friday the 13th, and you can hope you don't get knifed by a neutron star. Because again, that's like as fast as the solar wind speed we ever see in a typical situation is about 1,500 kilometers. That's like as fast as it gets. And that neutron star, which is believed by some to be, I'm not sure how many stellar masses they're going to assume that it is. First they thought it was going 1,100 kilometers per second, but then they realized we think it's actually going 1,500 kilometers per second. That's 1,500 kilometers per second. That's a pretty fast-moving object with a pretty high mass. And if it gets, let's just say if it gets in your local stellar neighborhood, an object like that, you wouldn't be worried about a 12,000-year catastrophe cycle now, would you? It's Friday the 13th, folks. Please take a photograph of your favorite knife. Put it on Instagram. Leave a comment. Oh my goodness, and thanks Smash team for tuning in. It's a bonus section. We're going to look at a random link from the, I don't even know what it is. It's the Lockheed Martin page. Random link coming up. Yeah, we decided to abandon all that. We just abandoned the whole thing, and we're just looking at the Integrated Space Weather Analysis Center here, looking at stereo A's view. You can see that active region that's rising right now from our perspective and setting from stereo A's perspective, as well as some activity right in the stereo A facing range there. So there's some stuff going on as we've forecasted correctly, I might add. So thanks for tuning in. Remember, when you are understanding the distinction between censored versus sinkhole, don't drink it if you drink. Understand the distinction anyway, just don't drive. And here ends this video. Ta-ta.